in general, media, it's really monopolistic. I mean, if we look at various elements of the media mix, I mean, you find in each category like a dominant player. If you look at TV, this is global. They have maybe over 70% of penetration. If you look at magazines, again, I mean, you look at one main group, Abril. The same with social media. I mean, Orkut here is the main with the highest penetration. So every time you have a key player really dominating the market. That's, for me, the main specificity.
TV Globo and Editora Abril in Brazil, those two companies together, they have more than 72 or 75% of the media money in Brazil, and they work together. That's the reason why we have in Brazil a specific law concerning to advertising agency, because those two companies decided together to not have in Brazil media companies or media brokers like Zenith Optimedia, like Starcom, like MediaVest, Mindshare. All those companies cannot operate in Brazil. Why? Because the media providers like TV Globo, like Editora Abril, like o Estado de São Paulo, they don't accept the order from those companies. The order in Brazil to the media provider has to be from a full agency. I knew it very well because at the time I was the advertising vice president of Editora Abril, and I was part of this problem we have today.
When you're investing in Brazil for your brands, you have to have something in mind. First, media in Brazil is very expensive. Everything in Brazil is very expensive. It's more expensive to eat in São Paulo than to eat in New York or even Paris, if you believe.
Strong concentration of national media at the southeast of the country, irradiating to the rest of Brazil, and the more political geared or interests geared media in the smaller cities of the country, in the countryside regions of Brazil. We do see that media in Brazil is diversifying and that is trying to respond to the demands of the public. So you have more and more channels on cable TV, you have more and more magazines coming out. I mean, every month you go to the newsstand in Brazil, you're going to see new magazines coming out. More international providers of information paying attention to Brazil, like the BBC itself. So it is a growing media and getting more and more segmented. So what I would say that specifically for the luxury markets, there are spaces being created that did not exist before.
And then you have two choices, I guess. One is the very targeted deluxe magazines, for example. Magazines about boats, about cars, everything. They're very small in Brazil. There are 3, 5, 10,000 copies perhaps. And what you should look is if they're audited, because many are not audited. Then perhaps you're buying something and receiving something less.
But the most important links between luxury and media companies in Brazil are by printing products, like, for example, the magazines like Exame by Editora Abril, very powerful magazine, direct link to executives and the top level of the companies.
The first half of the magazine has a lot of text because Brazilian women are not too used to luxury brands. We explain everything. So the first part of the magazine is about how to buy, where to buy, how to use, how to wear, what to do, what a brand really means, especially if it's a new brand. The rest of the magazine is about pictures. I hope you can see Brazilianelle in France because it's really luxurious. It's really, really very, very beautiful.
And the Brazilians, they are very much into internet and digital platforms. Why is that? First, because we are a very young population. So people here tend to go a lot into Twitter, Facebook. We're the biggest community in Orkut in the world. And Brazilians are very social oriented as well. We hug, we kiss, we talk, we go. We are very great way to we get together a lot. So that's probably why internet is such a big deal in Brazil.
Orkut is more important in Brazil than Facebook, but Facebook is improving, is increasing, is going well.
Mayor of São Paulo forbid every type of advertising in São Paulo, out of home advertising in São Paulo. It's forbid to put at the wall of the building. Billboards is forbidden here.
You just have basically in São Paulo and in Rio, you have just a few streets with high-end your brands and your competitor brands present, but the great majority of the presence is in malls. On those malls where you can talk, you can speak to your audience.
Like anywhere else, media is vital to build up the brand and to make it known. If you compare Brazil to the United States and Europe, you can say that our consumer has much less access to those luxury products. So they want to know, they need to know, and media is the way to make them buy, to make them understand, to make them desire luxury.
If we're looking just at Brazil, I would say below average. If we look at on a global level, we are average. So that shows you like we have other brands running that are not part of the Richemont group.
Baume & Mercier and Panerai are using Folha de São Paulo since the end of last year. In our weekly session in partnership with the New York Times, we have every Monday a special section, the New York Times International Weekly, published inside Folha de São Paulo. So Panerai has been using this environment.
Chanel, Vuitton, Dior, they have a presence. I don't know if it's a huge presence, but they have a presence. Hermes, Tiffany.
And Hermes, they did very well when they launched the local store in Brazil. They created a specific event putting together families with good services, with horses inside the store, because of course horses is a specific link to them. And they create a lot of comments and both in media because they did it very well.
Okay, if I can mention some brands for jewelry, for instance, Age Stern is being every Serafina's issues. For instance, they are spreading their message in terms of jewelry is being a very important presence.
Age Stern, Rolex, run ad with us.
Breitling, Omega, Rolex, Victorinox, Giorgio Armani, Louis Vuitton, Hermenegildo Zegna, Age Stern, which is a Brazilian jewelry company, Patek Philippe, Genève.
If we look at Brazil, the top two are Breitling and Bulgari.
So some brands, especially the beauty brands, are doing very well. They make advertorials, they make some parties, and they have quite a strong presence in the media, both editorially and in advertising.
I think they are very predictable because they choose the same strategies. They adopt usually the same strategy as his competitors.
Some brands come to Brazil and maybe, I don't know, they believe in silent launchings. They say nothing, so nothing happens, you know. But you must shout out loud because, as I said in the beginning, this consumer doesn't have the same access that people all around the world.
It's important to tell them about your brand, not just buy it. Tell them why to buy it, how important will be this product in their life.
People are used to seeing good quality programming on broadcast TV. And reason why, when we look our networks, we have a lot of networks in Latin America, but not just CNN, but the rest of the networks, the excellence is key, is a key driver. It's truly important for us to put a lot of content, valuable content that can give to people, bring to people relevance.
The language problem, it's really a problem in Brazil because people in Brazil, I think people don't speak English, people don't like to speak French. People like to have the website and the communication in Portuguese. Of course, the top level, they speak French and of course, most part of them speak English, but they love to see the ad in Portuguese and to see the translation. Maybe the same ad you put in L in Paris, but you have to translate it to L in Portuguese. Don't put it in English because I think you create a sort of barrier between you and between the label, the brand, and the client, I think.
I still will have like some references to local culture, but not too much because we're talking about an audience that is very keen on being associated with international elite. So we don't want to go down with too much local references. That's my point. And then maybe I think to sports it's very important here. So it's and it's very important, I believe, to associate some media components around the sports events. But that also like very exclusive, like Jockey Club here in São Paulo. I mean, very high-end events.
In terms of a media investment and positioning your brands in Brazil, if I were you, I would pay attention in a few things. First of them, as we mentioned, we have three types of consumers for the luxury brands in Brazil. The executives we have mentioned, the family, the rich families, and the third one, which are the newcomers, right? I would be careful with the newcomers. Why? Because among them, you have, for example, soccer players. They make fortunes in Brazil, but they're not so well seen in terms of the way they behave. And also there you have the corrupt politicians or the corrupt policemen. And you have also the drug dealers. They're all rich. They all buy very expensive brands. And you probably don't want to associate yourself with them.
And it's important too, instead of just to run ads, it's important to have a good PR here in Brazil to talk with our journalists in your brand. It's an important thing. You must to stay in contact by running ads or PR or the relationship with our readers. Okay.
In terms of events in São Paulo, I would. There's not many like cultural events that are like we had like in France about Bulgaria Retrospective, Grand Palais. That's something that we've never seen here in Brazil, as far as I know. We have an event that is the most important in terms of art. It's the Biennale, and it's really attracting the elite out of Brazil, coming for this month for 1 month of an event. Another event that I'm thinking of is classical music. It still attracts an elite audience here in Brazil. It's still not accessible to a lot of people, and we have Sala São Paulo, which is like an exclusive location in downtown São Paulo, but really with the best directors, and that's something that could be of interest.
If you think about iPad, because nowadays it's more expensive here in Brazil, if for some few, I think it's a good way to stay, a good way to run your ads here in Brazil. I don't know in the United States with 10 million iPad, it's a good way because it's a mass media nowadays. In Brazil, we have 100,000 iPads. It's a good thing to think now.
Media in Brazil is an eagle. Certainly is an eagle because very high level of media magazines, of printed magazines, of Brazilian television. Brazilian pay TV also is a good quality. And if you look to Latin America, Brazilian media is very, very high level compared to Mexico, to Argentina, to all the other countries of Latin America. And very powerful. That's another reason to call them an eagle, because they are very powerful.
First, I would say it would be a dinosaur. Not in terms of being old and slow, but in terms of being big. When the dinosaur comes, everything's gone. Right? It's really powerful. Second would be, I don't know how to say in English, perhaps a chameleon. Is that chameleon, the one that changes colors, everything? A chameleon, because media is always changing here. We're now into iPad, we're now into mobile phones, so it's always changing in Brazil. Third animal perhaps would be an octopus, because it has 8 legs, so it's everywhere you see, the media is there, right? It's all over.
An animal, it will be a leopard, okay? Not very big, but very, very fast.
Small leopard, because it's strong, it's gonna grow, it's very seductive, and it's hungry. Brazil is a growing market with a huge potential. So, Richemont, come and get it. That's what I want to say.